Okay, so this is an interesting question. It says that we have to find sine alpha plus beta, and the information that is given to us is this. Sine alpha is equal to 4 by 5. Sine beta is equal to 12 by 13. And it says that this alpha lies between pi by 2 and pi. And this beta also lies between pi by 2 and pi. So what that means is if you draw the quadrants, right, for the circular coordinates, you know that this positive y-axis is at pi by 2. The positive x-axis is obviously 0, right? So if you move in a circle, this is pi by 2. The negative x-axis is pi, the negative y-axis is 3 pi by 2, and the positive x-axis is again 0 or 2 pi, right? It's the same thing because once you complete one revolution, it's 2 pi, which means that you're basically back to the 0th point. Okay, so sine alpha plus beta, how do we find it? We only have sine alpha and sine beta. Now, you can apply the trigonometric identity over here. You know that sine alpha plus beta is equal to sine alpha cos beta plus sine beta cos alpha, right? So basically what you need now is cos beta and cos alpha. How do you find that? Well, sine alpha is given to us, and we have already established that it lies between pi and pi by 2. Now, if you look at the quadrant graph over here, alpha lies between pi by 2 and pi, which means it lies in the second quadrant. And as we all know, only the sine function is positive in the second quadrant. Only the cos function is positive in the third quadrant. Only the tan function is positive in the fourth quadrant. And all of the functions are positive in the first quadrant. But this lies in the second quadrant, so only the sine function is positive. Okay, fair enough. Now, you know the formula that sine square alpha plus cos square alpha is equal to 1. We need to make use of these sine alpha and sine beta to actually find cos alpha and cos beta. So you can take this sine alpha to the right hand side. So it becomes 1 minus sine alpha, sine square alpha. And once you take the under root of that, you can find cos alpha. Fair enough. So cos alpha is equal to under root 1 minus sine square alpha. Okay. We already have sine alpha, which is 4 by 5. So 1 minus 4 by 5 whole square is basically equal to 1 minus 16 by 25, because 4 square is 16 and 5 square is 25. Okay, now you can take the LCM, multiply this 1 with 25 and also divide it by 25. So you get 25 over 25. So you can now basically add up the numerators, 25 and 16. So 25 minus 16, because of this negative sign here, and that over 25. 25 minus 16 over 25. That becomes 9 over 25. Take the under root of 9 over 25, what do you get? You get positive or negative 3 by 5. Now, we have already established that cos alpha is equal to positive or negative 25. But we only take negative 3 by 5. Why? Because alpha lies in the second quadrant. And as we all know, in the second quadrant, only sine function is positive. Right? So this is the cos function. So it must be negative. Hence, we take negative 3 by 5, not positive 3 by 5. Okay. Now, we know that sine b is equal to 12 by 13. We'll apply the same logic to find cos beta. Cos beta is equal to 1 minus sine square beta whole under root. Fair enough. Now, obviously, sine square beta is equal to 12 square over 13 square, which is 144 over 169. And again, you can multiply this 1 over here with 169, and also divide it by 169 to take the LCM. Once you take the LCM, you find out that the numerator becomes 169 minus 144, and the denominator is obviously 169. Now, 169 minus 144 over 169 is equal to 25 divided by 169. And again, you take the under root of all of that, and you end up with positive and negative 5 by 13. Fair enough. But again, this is a cos function, and the angle beta also lies in the second quadrant, which means that again, you'll have to take negative 5 by 13 instead of positive 5 by 13. Because again, the second quadrant means that only the sine function is positive, and this is a cos function, so it will be negative. Now, we know that sine alpha plus beta is equal to sine alpha cos beta plus cos alpha sine beta. So you can now basically just multiply the values that you found. We found out that we already given that sine alpha is 4 by 5. We found out that cos beta is negative 5 by 13. We know that cos alpha, we already know that sine beta is equal to 12 by 13, and we found out that cos alpha is equal to negative 3 by 5. Once you do all the multiplications and the calculations, you end up with 56 over 65. And that is the value of sine alpha plus beta.